first came to the Oval for a school tournament, actually, when I was about 11 or 12. I think in my mind the pitch was divided into 4, but when I look at it, it's probably divided into 8 because we were pretty little. And I don't think it was a heroic innings, but I do remember thinking, "Oh, this is a big old place." And then growing up, I watched a lot of Test cricket, and I was very much into the county game in terms of reading it in the newspapers. There was a game, I don't know if it still exists, a fantasy county cricket league, which used to get the results delivered by post. And I always had Peter Such, and I always had Andre van Troost. I think they were my ride or die team members.
Were you? What was your kind of first exposure to cricket away from coming here? How did you get into it?
It was Test cricket on TV. Yeah, it was. I think probably this Test series that first sort of made me think I'm going to watch a lot of this was the India-England series in '90. Sachin Tendulkar making his debut as a 16-year-old. And then, yeah, every summer you'd just watch the Test games. Robin Smith was my hero, so I had a sort of a penchant for Hampshire just through him. But I didn't live near enough to a county ground to be able to follow one.
So if it was, just to jump back again, if you'd come with school, where was school and where were you living?
School was southwest London, so Roehampton, so not too far away. But in those days, across to the different quadrant of London, it felt like a huge journey. Yeah. I do remember one, you can keep on recording, I remember one county championship match, there's an old fella down at the front and a plane flew over, as they do every 4 minutes. And he'd obviously just had enough of noise in London in general. He just looked up at the planes and he went, and I thought, if you're getting upset by that, that's a difficult life. I think my first season, so I moved into the area, and my partner, thinking of something to give me for a birthday present, gave me membership to the Oval. And I had been to the Oval for various county championship games with friends over the years, but not with any kind of regularity. And I remember that first time stepping into the pavilion just behind us. And for whatever reason, it just clicked and I just felt at home. And it was kind of instant. And, with the freelance lifestyle of an actor, you can afford to have a bit. You do tend to have a bit of time now and again. And living where I do, I can be here, quite quickly. So I can even follow a game and think, well, someone's approaching a 50. I better pop down.
What year was that? Your first?
So 2013, I think, was my first series. And then sort of increasingly coming through 2015, 2016, and then the bug was pretty inbuilt by 2017. And now I find it very difficult if Surrey are playing at home to be at my house. If I haven't got anything else to do, it feels, I can absolutely vouch it is addictive. But also it gives me a great deal of things, which I can't necessarily put my finger on all of them, but to be able to sit in a stadium of this size in the centre of London, and the fact that it's not full, the fact that it's at times quiet, the fact that there's a game which lasts 4 days, there's a contemplative nature to that leads both probably playing it, but also definitely watching it. But there are so many different days I've had here, so many different places you can sit, so many different ways of experiencing the games. You can come with a great group of friends, spend a day barely watching any cricket because you're just talking and catching up and drinking and having something to eat. You can spend a day entirely engrossed by yourself watching the action. As cricket does, it can change so quickly in terms of what's at stake in a match. The fact that you have been able to watch over that period the most incredible players playing for Surrey. The amount of international players you get to see, it's basically international sport. And if you'd said, I've been to the Oval and I've seen Morné Milkle and Kemar Roach and Joe Root, Kevin Peterson, Ricky Ponting, you'd think, oh right, you'd been to the Test matches, but no, they're all county championship matches in front of, you know, maybe 1,500 people.
So as we look out over the oval, what immediately springs to mind? Are there any moments that you look out and you go, I remember being sat here in the sunshine or in the rain and watching?
I mean, primarily cricket is the focus when you come here. But for me, the memories that I will take are probably not necessarily cricketing ones. I mean, there are brilliant moments that I remember. Will Jacks hitting a six to get his first ever maiden century, where you thought, oh right, he's going to play for England. The season that Gus Atkinson came back and you thought, oh crikey, he's put on 5 miles per hour, he's going to play for England. Seeing those players develop, and moments that maybe wouldn't mean that much to people. Conor McKerr hitting a 4 to win a T20 match against Somerset. But for me, it's the conversations that I've had and it's the people that I've met. It's playing with my son and my daughter on the pitch when at lunch and tea, when the crowd are able to go onto the pitch and playing catch. I think those moments of playing catch with my son and my daughter will play behind my eyes and my last breath. They're some of the happiest times I've had.
When did you start bringing them along?
I probably went too early. My son was 3, but I actually do think, and I've seen a few people in the last couple of seasons, mums and dads of very young kids, like babies. It's a great thing to do to get you out of the house. They can sleep, obviously. Also, during the county championship matches, there is some room to run around. I mean, I'm not sure what age he stopped asking who's winning, but he now plays cricket regularly. My daughter loves coming. She will do 4 days of a county championship match with me now. It used to be she just enjoyed naming the chairs and doing her sticker books and reading. But now we play the pigeon game, which side the pigeons land on, and you pick a side at the beginning of the season, and at the end of each session, which side's got the most pigeons, you get the point. Feel free to use that. I'm not going to trademark it, it's fine. It's certainly where my son's love of cricket came from, coming here, sitting just the two of us chatting, and then being able to bring my daughter along when she arrived. And I guess a lot of people who are members here talk of that family feel to the club. And I think it's because you often spend it with your family, as well as people that you meet, you know, day in, day out, coming here, become extended members of the family as well. And it feels like, well, it's a super successful club. It's, you know, they're making a lot of money. You're watching international sports who are supposed to be so remote, sportsmen who are supposed to be so remote and distant. But you're standing right next to them and you're often chatting to them. And they're quite happy to chat to you. You're speaking to people who've got hundreds of test wickets and who are just passing the time just as you are. I think that just lends itself, and also the amount of time you spent here, just lends itself to a familiarity.
With your kids, how did you know, I think there can be a lot of a perception in terms of getting somebody into watching red ball cricket and being engaged with what is going on out there. How did you do that? Was it, as you mentioned, just very softly let them enjoy themselves and then eventually they grew into it? Or how did you begin to try and explain, I guess, the nuances? It's very easy to follow a T20 game because you go, oh, they've hit 6, they must be doing well.
Yeah, I think partly I was bringing them because it was something for me to do. And if you're a parent at home thinking of what to do with a kid, sometimes you don't want to go to another sing and sign session or whatever it is. It was something else to do. So I don't think I was trying necessarily to get them into it. I just brought them, and obviously you lured them with crisps and ice cream and peanuts, and then also you brought their friends as they got older, and then they'd wander around and play their own games and use their own imagination, and then occasionally hear something that was, you know, took their attention, and so they'd ask the questions, and it, you know, you have to withstand an awful lot of questions in cricket because you forget once you've been watching it for a long time, you forget how many rules there are. But actually, in terms of the basics of it, it's pretty easy to follow.
You can see the top of the feathers going up on that bar.
Oh, that's the last one, is it?
Well,
Oh no, you got another one there.
Yeah. Yeah,
So that's the only finished one.
Yeah, that's the only finished one. You can see there the kind of feather shape.
It's a little like a pigeon, actually. My daughter will be thrilled.
It sounds like for you it's a place that has a lot of really strong memories. Do you ever, how would you want to bring other people in, and what would you say to someone who not interested in cricket, or maybe has come to a few T20s and knows, it's quite fun at Friday night, Thursday night, but actually what would you say to someone if you were like, actually let's come along to a camp championship game? It's the same sport, but there's differences. How would you explain that to you?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I've been working on a TV series with quite a few American actors over the last few years in London, and I've been talking about cricket and trying to educate them a bit about it. And some of them are interested, and some of them aren't. And that's fine. But the ones who have shown an interest, I said, well, come down. I'll take you to a county championship match. And I've always chosen county championship to give the sense of like what I particularly love about cricket. And two of them regularly send me a picture of themselves in their Surrey cap on the streets of New York, which thrills my heart. One of them, who lives in LA, gets up quite early to watch the live stream on YouTube. A man who knew nothing about cricket until a couple of years ago, who now will talk about who's in the Warwickshire 11. So I mean, I guess the proof's in the pudding in terms of it. It seems to click with people. I know it doesn't click with everyone, but there is so many things to do when you're at a cricket match, even if you're not watching cricket. I mean, if you don't like eating, or if you don't like drinking, or if you don't like talking, then yeah, maybe it's not for you. But you can do all those things and watch high-level sport, get an interest in something that could be new to you. But also, I'd say be careful, because it's addictive.
And when we try and talk to the players about what makes red ball cricket particularly special to them, and a lot of them talk about that. It's the payoff. It's the game of chess. It's the nuance within a session, within a day, within all 4 days of a game. For you, how do you see that, and how do you watch that from your position up here in the pavilion?
I guess I've always felt it like that. For me, the long format game is like reading a really great novel, and the shorter forms are like potentially great short stories, potentially a great comic. They all have skill, they all have art to them, but there is something so much more nourishing about reading a long and successful novel than there is about something that only takes a day and a half to read. Good thing about cricket, you can bring that novel to it as well.
Obviously, the last 3 years in particular, but actually the last 6 years, there's been a lot of success for the Red Bull side here at Surrey. What are your memories of watching this team play, and obviously the trophies and the good times that we've had during the last 6 years?
Well, more than anything, it has revealed itself to be an extraordinarily well-run club. You don't get the success that you do. You don't get the talent pool that they have developed without everybody working together well. And as much as that reveals itself in terms of being the off-pitch stuff, that absolutely translates to the on-pitch stuff as well. And people who are in and out of the team, who when they get into the team don't seem to have any animus about the fact that they might have been overlooked for a few matches. They're here to play for Surrey and do the best for Surrey. And there seems to be, as an observer, there seems to be a lack of ego about the way that they play cricket. They play cricket for Surrey, and they play cricket for each other and for the team. And there's something incredibly rewarding about seeing that, as well as seeing the fact that that leads to success, because you kind of hope in your heart that that's what success comes from: teamwork and togetherness, and putting the greater good before the individual need. And so it's so lovely to see that sort of reflected on the cricket pitch.
Do you have a favourite game, a favourite match here at the Oval that you've watched?
I mean, we were talking about the Somerset match last year, in where you thought, but the fact that you even thought they were going to do the impossible, which, you know, luckily remained out of reach because it was too extreme. But the fact that you even thought it, you realised what a great team this was, that you even considered that could happen. The match here when we won the first of the three-peat, and that you're able, you know, to celebrate with the crowd and with the team. I think, I mean, Ponting's last ever innings going out with a century, you know. There are so many highs here. And there's particularly the love of coming back regularly, seeing who's done what in terms of the off-season and how they've changed and how they've developed, how younger players coming through, how people have, you know, adapted their games. You see Dom Sibley adapting his game this season to the batter that he was a few seasons ago, because seeing the way that batting was changing, and being able to implement that. And, you know, I don't know them, but it gives you great pride to see people that you watch regularly and that you're invested in because you love the club, seem to care as much as you do.
You mentioned Will Jacks earlier. Is he the example? Who are there any other examples of players who you really have seen and you see them come into the side at 17, 18, 19, 20, they get their debuts, you see them and you go, okay, wow, there's something really special about this player.
Quite often you've heard about the players before they've come into the team, and quite often there'll be some whispers around, I mean, particularly Will Jacks, Ollie Pope, Jamie Smith, they were already sort of destined for greatness even before they broke into the team. It might not have felt like that to them, but to the outside eye, it felt like, they'd already been earmarked. That doesn't make it any easier for them, but I guess it's the players who surprise you. Talking about Gus Atkinson, Gus obviously had trouble with injuries over the first few years of his career, and the fact that he was able to put those behind him, have the coaching and the determination to change his action, to change the speed with which he was bowling, and to see it all, in his first game back after the winter break, which was 2 seasons ago, and just think, oh right, he's a different player. He's going to play for England, and for him to do that as remarkably successfully as he done, again, that family feel kind of gives you a sense of reflected pride. It's nothing to do with me, obviously, but I'll take it. Top 3 players. I'll choose all Surrey then, if I may. I'd say Morné Morkel is my favourite. Just his action, the ease with which he played, the spirit in which he played it. He seemed both ferocious and gentle. Kemar Roach, who, despite all of his international honours and success, seems to absolutely give his all to Surrey. And the fact that he is able to come back here as often as he has been able to, and whenever he seems to have a gap in his diary, is straight back here, and bowling with such ferocity still. And then I'm actually going to say Ryan Patel, who might not have the international honours of, say, a Morné or a Kemar, but just feels the embodiment of what Surrey is. The fact that he bowls and bats just as well as he does, but the fact that he, whenever called upon, delivers, and just one of those people that I'm always rooting for.